Hi everyone, and welcome to this first episode of Consider This. Let me just start by saying thank you so much for joining me on this journey. Today I'm going to be talking about depression and my experiences with depression back in 2016. These videos are not meant for me to be preachy or anything like that, but just simply for me to share my story with you in an open and transparent manner in the hope that maybe I can inspire others out there going through similar things. So yeah, let's get going. So before I get into my story, I think what's important is to first of all acknowledge how the world is today talking more about mental health. And I think that's great, that it's no longer being seen as a taboo subject. People are talking about it. It's really encouraging to see celebrities and public figures really endorsing mental health and talking about their own experiences. And, for me, growing up, I went to boarding school when I was 10 years old. I'm 32 now, but back in the early 2000s, if you said that you were depressed or that you were anxious or anything like that, I mean, the teachers would look at you and tell you to man up. Like, there was absolutely no sort of care given to the mental aspect of things. And it's really encouraging to see that schools are taking this a lot more seriously and it is getting the attention it deserves. So my experience with depression actually started towards the end of 2016, and I've got an iPad here, I've got some notes on it, so that's why I keep looking at it. And I just finished drama school, and obviously my dad's situation had also started to kick off, and I was getting a lot of abusive messages online saying things like, "I hope your family dies," and "I hope you go to jail," and real horrible things like that, which naturally had an effect on me. And let me just say, anyone who tells you that those sorts of messages don't affect them is either made out of stone or they're lying. Bear that in mind when you do comment on someone's photo. There is a person behind the picture, so always just bear that in mind. So yeah, that really did get to me. And I remember I would wake up in the mornings just feeling lost and empty and like I had a lack of purpose in life. Like I didn't really know what I was or what I was really doing. And the main thing I really actually felt was loneliness. And even though I was in London and I had all my friends there and I had my family there and all these good things, I just felt alone. And I couldn't understand why. And I kept trying to talk myself out of it, being like, snap out of it, Siddhartha, come on, you're 30 years old, you've just come out of the world's best drama school, you've got the world at your feet, you've got all these opportunities, there are people in the world way worse off than you are, stop feeling like this. And I kept beating myself up and making myself feel guilty about the way that I was feeling. And all that did was make me spiral even further down the rabbit hole. And I remember being at a friend's wedding in Europe. It was a destination wedding, and all my friends were there, and it was 3 days of partying and just, it had every ingredient to have an amazing time. But I remember being there and just feeling crushed inside. And every time I kept telling myself, no, stop feeling like this, like be happy, smile, you've got your friends here, like it's an amazing party. The more I tried to push the happiness out, the more my body rejected it and the more low I started to feel. And I remember then coming back from the wedding, and I used to live in this duplex in London where there was a staircase, and opposite the staircase was this mirror. And I remember just sitting on the staircase and breaking. And I just started to bawl my eyes out, floods and floods of tears. And I looked in the mirror and I saw myself, and I basically started shouting at myself, being like, "Why are you feeling this way? Like, you shouldn't be feeling this way. Like, stop it, stop it, stop it." And of course the reflection wasn't giving me back the answers that I wanted, which sort of wound me up even more. And really, the best way to describe how I felt was, so I'm a massive Harry Potter fan. I don't know if any of you are as well, but in Harry Potter, there's this thing called a Dementor. and a Dementor guards the Azkaban prison, and it is said to suck the happiness out of everyone in it. And I literally sat there on that staircase feeling like I had a Dementor on my shoulder, sucking the life and the happiness out of me. And really it was at that point where I was like, you know, this is just not any way to live. I need to do something about this. And that's where I decided to go and seek professional help. So yeah, now in this next part, I will talk about the things that helped me, and let's go from there. So what helped me? So after I decided that I needed professional help, my GP referred me to a psychiatrist who did a full evaluation, and I was clinically diagnosed with OCD. Now, I'm going to do an entire episode on living with OCD, so I'm not going to get too much into it now. But I was also prescribed antidepressants. So I started taking Cipralex, which is a brand of SSRI antidepressant. You're probably wondering, what is SSRI? Trust me, I had no clue either, but SSRI stands for Selective Serotonin Reuptake Inhibitor. SSRI antidepressants are a type of antidepressant that work by increasing levels of serotonin within the brain. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter that is often referred to as the feel-good hormone. So yeah, I started taking those, and I definitely saw an improvement in my mood. And I was taking them for about 3 months, and then I was like, well, you know what? Now I'd like to sort of explore more natural ways to deal with my feelings, because, you know, I was a little bit wary that you don't want to ever get too reliant on medication. Quick little side note, I forgot to tell my mum that I was taking these antidepressants, and she found out by my Instagram post on World Mental Health Day in October. So yeah, if you are taking medication, maybe tell your loved ones that you are. Don't let them find out like my mum did. All I can say is, sorry mum, love you. But yeah, what else helped me? Therapist. I have an amazing therapist here in LA. She has changed my life. She has changed the way that I view things. She's got me talking about my feelings more, which really helps. Transcendental meditation. I've been doing it for 3 years. Completely transformed me. It's made me more grounded. It's made me calmer, and it's put me in a much better mental place to deal with the sort of issues that life throws at you, which it inevitably does. I would say with meditation, try 2 or 3 different types first before finding the one that works for you. That's certainly what I did. Running, that's helped me. Obviously exercise releases certain feel-good endorphins and hormones, but running for me is now no longer just about fitness. It's become another form of meditation, really. And if you're into running, it really can help you clear your mind. And finally, the thing that really helped me was my dog Duke. I obviously had Duke before 2016, but I don't think I really appreciated him until I went through my mental issues. I think anyone out there who has a pet knows that the unconditional love that a dog can give you is like nothing on the planet. So I would recommend, if you are ever feeling low, find an animal, go and play with it. It's really therapeutic, and you do get a lot of love, which is amazing, right? So yeah, that's what helped. So to conclude with, I would say the biggest piece of advice I can leave you with is, don't feel afraid to go and seek help. Okay, you know, if you were sick, you would go to a doctor. If you had a toothache, you'd go to a dentist. But if you're not feeling all good up here, go and speak to a professional. There is absolutely no shame in it. Okay, it is not weakness. In fact, putting your hands up sometimes and surrendering and saying, you know what, I need help, that is the biggest show of strength one can do. And you know, we all strive to be the best sons, the best daughters, the best husbands, the best wives, the best fathers, the best mothers, I don't know, the best siblings, the best friends. But in order to do that, one needs to get their own house in order first. And I know a lot of you out there have probably tried that and have been told you're being selfish for focusing on yourself. Let me say that's not true. Working on oneself is actually the most selfless thing you can do. So do not feel afraid to go and work on yourself and to seek help. And also don't feel afraid to talk to people. Whether it's a friend, whether it's a sibling, talk about your feelings, talk about what you're going through. You'll soon realize that there are a lot more people who feel the same way as you do and who can relate to your situation than you think. And on the other side, I would also say be prepared to listen to people. Okay, if someone comes to you and wants to talk about their mental state, be open to hear. I think a lot of people get freaked out by the idea of talking about mental health because they're like, oh, well, I'm not a professional. I don't know what advice I can give you. You don't need to give advice. Sometimes the best advice you can give is by saying nothing at all and just listening. So I would say be prepared to listen to others the same way you would hope that others would be prepared to listen to you. And yeah, that's it. See you next time.